Something incredible happens beneath your feet when you get soil right. It becomes alive, active, and quietly powerful. And one of the clearest signs you've nailed it is this simple detail. Your earthworms get bigger, not just more of them, but noticeably thicker, longer, and more energetic. That's not luck, that's a signal. And one surprisingly simple kitchen staple is helping gardeners unlock this transformation in a way most people completely overlook. Let's get straight into it. Why bigger worms mean better soil? If you've been gardening for a while, you already know worms are beneficial, but size matters more than most people realize. Larger worms are not just older, they're better workers. They tunnel deeper, aerate more efficiently, and process organic matter at a much higher rate. When worms grow bigger, it means your soil is rich in organic material, properly moist, and biologically active. In other words, it's thriving. These worms act like underground compost machines, converting waste into nutrient-rich castings that plants absorb instantly. So instead of chasing fertilizers, the smarter move is to create conditions where worms thrive. And that's where rice comes in. The rice secret gardeners are quietly using. Cooked rice isn't just food for humans, it's a powerful microbial booster for soil. When added correctly, it feeds beneficial bacteria and fungi, which in turn become food for earthworms. It's a chain reaction that builds a healthier underground ecosystem. Rice breaks down quickly, especially when exposed to moisture and microbes. This rapid decomposition creates a feeding frenzy below the surface. Worms are drawn to it, and once they settle in, they stay, growing larger and multiplying faster. But dumping leftover rice into your garden isn't the right way to do it. There's a method that makes this technique far more effective. How to use rice the right way. The goal is to create a simple fermented rice solution that supercharges microbial life without attracting pests or causing imbalance. Start with 1 cup of uncooked white rice. Rinse it thoroughly in 2 cups of clean water. Don't throw that water away. That cloudy liquid is packed with starch and beneficial compounds. Collect it in a container. Leave this rice water at room temperature for 24 to 48 hours, loosely covered. During this time, it begins to ferment slightly, encouraging beneficial microbes to multiply. After fermentation, it's important to dilute the rice water before you apply it. Mix 1 part fermented rice water with 10 parts clean water. So for example, if you have 1 cup of fermented rice water, you should dilute it with 10 cups of water. This dilution step is really crucial. If the solution is too strong, it can actually create imbalances in your soil. But when it's properly diluted, it turns into a gentle yet powerful soil enhancer. Just pour this solution directly onto your soil, especially in areas where you want to boost biological activity. For best results, go ahead and apply it once every 1 to 2 weeks. So what happens after application? Well, within just a few days, your soil actually begins to shift. Microbial activity ramps up, breaking down organic matter more efficiently. This process creates a steady food source for worms, which encourages them to move in, and more importantly, to stay. Over time, you'll notice the soil gets softer, retains moisture better, and your plants start to grow stronger. But honestly, the most exciting changes are happening underground. Worms become more active, and yes, they even get noticeably bigger. Their castings enrich the soil with nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, all in forms that plants can use immediately. This sets up a natural fertility loop, which means you'll need a lot less synthetic input going forward. Pairing rice with organic matter is, honestly, where the magic really happens. Rice water works best when your soil already has something for microbes and worms to process. Think of it as a catalyst, not a standalone solution. Adding compost, shredded leaves, or aged plant material alongside rice applications amplifies the effect. The microbes stimulated by the rice solution break down this organic matter faster, creating a rich feeding ground for worms. The result is a layered system where everything supports everything else. Microbes feed worms. Worms improve soil. Soil supports plants. And plants contribute back to the system. Avoiding common mistakes is important, and, well, using rice in the garden is powerful, but a few mistakes can slow your progress. Applying undiluted rice water can create unpleasant odors and disrupt soil balance. Always dilute properly. Leaving large chunks of cooked rice exposed on the surface can attract pests. If you're using solid rice, bury it lightly under the soil to keep things balanced. Over-application is another issue. More is not better. Stick to a consistent schedule rather than flooding your soil with too much at once. Balance is everything in a living soil system. Why does this method work so well? At its core, this technique works because it supports life instead of forcing growth. Instead of feeding plants directly, you're feeding the ecosystem that supports them. Healthy soil isn't just dirt. It's a living network of organisms working together. Rice water accelerates that network, giving beneficial microbes the boost they need to multiply and thrive. Once that system is active, worms naturally follow. And when worms thrive, everything else improves. It's simple, effective, and incredibly sustainable. The long-term impact on your garden can be pretty remarkable. Gardeners who consistently use this method notice lasting changes. Soil becomes darker, looser, and easier to work with. Plants develop stronger root systems and show improved resistance to stress. Watering becomes more efficient because healthy soil retains moisture better. Fertilizer use often drops significantly because the soil itself becomes the nutrient source. And perhaps most satisfying of all, you'll see it with your own eyes. Turn over a patch of soil and instead of lifeless dirt, you'll find it teeming with large active worms. That's when you know your garden has truly come alive. Bring your soil back to life starting today. You don't need expensive products or complicated systems to build incredible soil. Sometimes the most powerful solutions are already in your kitchen. Rice water is one of those hidden gems that transforms your garden from the ground up. Used consistently and correctly, it creates the perfect environment for worms to grow bigger, work harder, and turn your soil into a living powerhouse. Start small, stay consistent, and watch the transformation happen beneath your feet. If you found this helpful, make sure to subscribe to The Garden Life and share this with a fellow gardener who needs better soil. Your plants and your worms will thank you.